Here's a psychology insight most people aren't ready for. That incredible feeling you get in the first few months of a relationship, it's not love at its purest. It's actually your brain on a chemical cocktail that's designed to fade. And when you understand why, every relationship you've ever had will suddenly make a lot more sense. You've probably experienced this. Those first 3 to 6 months with someone new where everything feels perfect. They can't do anything wrong. You're texting constantly. You'd rather be with them than anywhere else. You feel like you've finally found the one. Time disappears when you're together, and even their annoying habits seem kind of cute. Psychologists call this the honeymoon period, and it's not just some romantic metaphor. It's a measurable neurological state. Your brain chemistry literally changes during this phase, flooding your system with feel-good chemicals that cloud your judgment and amplify attraction. And here's what matters. Understanding these 5 psychological facts won't ruin the magic. It'll actually help you build something real when the honeymoon ends. But here's where things get interesting. Most people think the honeymoon period fading means the relationship is dying. The truth? It's just your brain returning to normal. And what you do with that shift determines everything. Here's the uncomfortable reality. That intense feeling you call falling in love. It's closer to addiction than actual love. Brain scans of people in the honeymoon phase look almost identical to people using cocaine. The same reward centers light up. The same dopamine floods your system. You're literally high on another person. And just like any high, it doesn't last forever. The problem isn't that it fades. The problem is most people panic when it does, thinking they've fallen out of love when really they're just coming down from the rush. But this is only the first fact. And once you understand all 5, you'll see why so many relationships fail right after the honeymoon ends. And more importantly, how to make sure yours doesn't. Facts number 1. Your brain is flooded with dopamine, oxytocin, and norepinephrine. During the honeymoon period, your brain becomes a chemical factory. Dopamine makes you crave them constantly. It's the same neurotransmitter linked to motivation and reward. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, makes you feel emotionally attached and creates that deep sense of connection. And norepinephrine? That's what gives you the racing heart, sweaty palms, and sleepless nights thinking about them. Here's what your mind is actually doing. It's trying to bond you to a potential long-term partner by making every interaction feel incredible. Evolutionarily, this served a purpose. It kept couples together long enough to reproduce and care for offspring. But in modern dating, it can trick you into thinking perfect chemistry equals perfect compatibility. If that made you pause, good, because the next fact explains why you probably ignored massive red flags in past relationships without even realizing it. Facts number 2. Your brain literally suppresses negative judgment. Studies show that during the honeymoon phase, the part of your brain responsible for critical thinking and negative assessment, the prefrontal cortex, actually becomes less active. At the same time, your brain reduces activity in regions linked to fear and negative emotions. Translation: you're biologically wired to overlook flaws. That's why someone who's clearly wrong for you can seem perfect for months. Your brain is filtering out the warning signs because it wants you to stay attached. You're not being naive. You're being neurologically manipulated by your own mind. For example, let's say your new partner is always too busy to introduce you to their friends, or they get weirdly defensive when you ask simple questions. Normally, you'd recognize these as red flags. But during the honeymoon period, your brain explains them away. They're just private. They've been hurt before. You rationalize because your chemistry tells you to. And here's the part almost no one talks about. This chemical high has a deadline. Facts number 3. The honeymoon period lasts 12 to 24 months on average, then it crashes. Research shows that those elevated dopamine and norepinephrine levels peak around 6 months and start declining after a year. By 18 to 24 months, most couples have returned to baseline brain chemistry. The spark doesn't dim because you're incompatible. It dims because your brain can't sustain that level of chemical intensity forever. It's biologically exhausting. This is the make or break moment for most relationships. When the high wears off, you're left with reality. Who this person actually is, how you actually communicate, whether your values actually align. Some couples discover they built something real beneath the chemistry. Others realize they were just addicted to the feeling, not committed to the person. And that difference? That's what separates relationships that last from ones that explode the moment things feel normal. But this next part explains why some people never make it past the honeymoon phase, even when they say they want something serious. Facts number 4. Some people become addicted to the honeymoon high, not to love itself. There's a pattern psychologists call serial honeymoon syndrome. These are people who jump from relationship to relationship, always staying just long enough to enjoy the chemical rush, then leaving the moment things normalize. They're not scared of commitment. They're chasing a feeling. Your brain tries to protect you from discomfort, but it ends up holding you back. If you've ever wondered why you lose interest the second someone becomes too available or too stable, this is why. Your brain interprets stability as boring because it's not giving you that dopamine spike anymore. You think you're choosing passion, but what's really happening is you're choosing familiarity with intensity over the harder work of building actual intimacy. And here's the brutal truth. If you don't recognize this pattern, you'll keep repeating it. Different person, same cycle. The honeymoon high, the crash, the exit. Over and over. If that hit close to home, don't panic, because this final fact is actually the most empowering one. Facts number 5. Real love begins when the honeymoon period ends, not before. Here's what most people get wrong. They think the honeymoon phase is love at its peak. It's not. It's infatuation at its peak. Real love, the kind that lasts, is what you build after the chemicals fade. That's when you choose someone, not because your brain is forcing you to crave them, but because you genuinely respect who they are. You see their flaws clearly, and you stay anyway. You have hard conversations and don't run. You build trust through consistency, not intensity. The honeymoon period is the preview. What comes after is the actual movie. And the couples who make it, they're the ones who understand that losing the spark doesn't mean losing the relationship. It means graduating to something deeper, something that doesn't need a chemical high to survive. For example, instead of expecting your partner to make your heart race every time you see them, you start appreciating the calm they bring. Instead of needing constant excitement, you find meaning in stability. It's not boring, it's sustainable, and that's what actually lasts. The solution. So if you want to break the cycle of honeymoon phase relationships that go nowhere, start with this. Recognize when the chemicals are doing the thinking for you. Ask yourself, would I still choose this person if I wasn't high on dopamine right now? If the answer is no, you're not in love, you're just in chemistry. But if the answer is yes, then you've got something worth protecting when the honeymoon ends. Here's one mental shift that actually creates change. Stop measuring your relationship by how intense it feels and start measuring it by how safe, respected, and understood you feel. Passion fades. Partnership doesn't. Once you understand these 5 facts, you can finally stop chasing the high and start building something real. The honeymoon period is beautiful, but it's not the destination. It's just the beginning. Your brain is powerful, but so are you. And when you stop letting chemistry make your decisions, you get to choose love consciously. That's when relationships stop being a roller coaster and start being a foundation.